Hey there, it's the Big Bad Wolf again, and I'm doing another Disney record review for y'all to celebrate a milestone that the company's ignoring. Yup, the book and audio read-along adaptation of The Rescuers. Released 40 years ago today, it is one of Disney's more underappreciated animated movies, too, and the source for the popular YouTube poop on this channel. Two mice try to save a girl. This read-along was produced and released in 1977 as a tie-in to the movie being released that year. This was also the first new title Disneyland Records produced in their regular read-along line in the newer style, which they began with the Little Golden Book read-alongs the previous year. See? Instead of having a sole narrator read the whole thing, the read-alongs from this point on would also now generally include character voices, background music, and sound effects, and may also incorporate at least one of the songs into the story. Looking out on the top of the front cover, it says, Authorized Walt Disney Productions Edition. This was the only Disney read-along to do so in the regular line, probably because the characters in this film were adapted from Marjorie Sharp's Miss Bianca novels. And I also already showed you they began remaking several older read-along titles based on the movies and cartoons in this way, with variable results. But anyways, this film was Disney Animation's first big success in the field of animated features for quite a while. And some people felt that it was starting a big comeback of theirs, but the Walt Disney Studio was still going through hard times, and didn't really get such a big comeback until the release of The Little Mermaid in 1989. And now they're enjoying another comeback with hits like Frozen, Big Hero 6, and Zootopia. Also with this movie, Disney had recently recruited a bunch of new animators and artists and such to gradually replace the aging crew at the studio. This is also one of the final projects that several members of Disney's 9 old men worked on. So anyways, let's see, hear, and read. I recently put a new diamond stylus on this record player now. It should be much better and last longer than the cheap sapphire stylus it originally had.
This is the story of the rescuers.
Yeah, that's Bob Holt narrating, the veteran voice actor.
You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this.
Of course.
Let's begin now. Deep in Devil's Bayou sat an old, rotting riverboat.
Oh, the signature Devil's Bayou theme.
A girl named Penny had been kidnapped and brought there by 2 terrible people. One dark night, Penny secretly placed a message in a bottle and dropped it into the water. She hoped someone, somewhere, would find her message and rescue her.
Now we hear a snippet of the song that played during the opening credits. Remember, it made fun of the chorus in the YouTube poop of this film. Fades out before it could even finish properly.
Someone did find Penny's message. A very special group of mice named the Rescue Aid Society. They called an emergency meeting to find a way to help poor Penny. It looked like a difficult case. Miss Bianca, a most adventurous agent, immediately volunteered to take the case. But she needed to choose a partner.
I pick Mr. Bernard.
That sounds nothing like Eva
Pointing to
Gabor.
the timid janitor,
Me?
stammered Bernard.
But I'm only...
Oh, come on. You'll make a perfectly wonderful agent.
So Bianca and Bernard flew to Devil's Bayou.
But we don't see it. They cut out Orville completely.
His leaf boat, they made
Oh,
their way
Evan.
across the swamp.
And he's got his
where
theme
Penny
music,
was
too.
held prisoner.
But they don't show him in the illustrations, just a front
The
cover.
old riverboat and peeked through the window. There were the kidnappers. The boss was Madame Medusa, a mean and greedy woman who kept crocodiles as pets.
Yeah.
Her helper was Snoops,
I want that diamond.
snarled Medusa. swinging
Doesn't
her
sound much
teeth
like her either.
Put that brat, Penny, down into the pirate cave again tomorrow and make her find that big diamond.
Yeah, the Devil's Eye diamond.
said Snoops helplessly.
Do we have to use her?
Of course we do, you nitwit. She's the only one small enough to squeeze down the black hole.
Bernard gasped.
We've got to find Penny and get her out of here tonight.
And Bernard's voice
They'd
makes it
only
sound
gone
much
a few
younger,
feet
too.
when Medusa's pet crocodiles spotted them.
Is it just me or do a lot of Disney crocodiles and alligators and such look alike?
Crocodiles snapping at
Like
their
TikTok or Lewis from The Princess and the Frog.
under the furniture, up the curtains, and into a pipe organ. The chase
Yeah, and they
was so
wrecked the
annoying
pipe organ
that
afterwards,
Medusa
too.
came to see what was wrong.
Mice! Oh, get them, Snoops! Get them!
Snoops swung madly at Bianca and Bernard with a broom. Medusa grabbed a shotgun and began blasting away at the floor.
She's not very good with a gun, though.
Scrambling frantically, Bianca and Bernard escaped under a door unharmed. Bianca was out of breath.
That shot was from when they were inside the pipe organ. They just changed the
It's
background.
no use, Bianca.
Said Bernard hopelessly.
What can two little mice do?
But Bernard, the society is counting on us. We're Penny's only hope.
Couldn't they at least gotten Robbie Lester back to do the voice if they couldn't get Eva Gabor?
Later that night, Medusa called Penny downstairs.
Tomorrow, you're going to find that diamond, dear. Then will you please take me back to the orphanage so I can get adopted?
Asked Penny.
Adopted? What makes you think anyone would want a homely child like you?
That line was pretty much accurate to the
More than
movie.
anything else, Penny wanted a mother and a father. But Medusa had broken her dream. She
What a
returned
heartless
to her
woman.
bedroom
Not as bad as Lady Tremaine, though.
As Penny knelt by her bed and said her prayers, she heard a tiny voice.
Penny, we found the bottle with your message. We've come to rescue you.
It was Bernard. Penny hugged her teddy bear.
Did you hear that, Teddy?
Ah, it's instrumental of Tomorrow's Another Day.
Then she looked down at the two tiny mice.
Didn't you bring anyone big with you? Like the police?
Bianca smiled.
No, Penny. But if we all work together and have a little faith, everything will turn out right.
So the
Penny already knew that faith
rest
makes
of the
things
night
turn out
climbed
right in the original. Rufus the cat told her with that poem. Oops. Yeah, you could see it's quite different from the real movie. Many of Disney's older read-along adaptations were like that, using substitute voice actors, editing out scenes or even certain characters, like Orville the Albatross here, and stuff like that. Also by this time, The new read-along adaptations of Disney movies and such, they would often use actual screen caps or cells from the films, except for the reissues of the older titles, which would typically reuse their old illustrations. So let's see, from this read-along, they cut out Bernard and Miss Bianca investigating the orphanage and interviewing Rufus the cat, snooping around Madame Medusa's pawn shop, and everything of Orville and their flight to Devil's Bayou, Penny's initial attempt to escape, and the stuff of Ellie Mae and Luke. You're pretty much getting only part of the film with this read-along. But let's hear the other side of the record. By this point, the film is actually 2/3 of the way through.
Early the next morning,
There's that Devil's Bayou theme again.
Come along, Penny dear. We're going to find that diamond.
They didn't show that in the film.
When Penny got dressed, Bianca and Bernard hid in her dress pocket. Then, Medusa and Snoops took Penny off to the pirate cave across the swamp. Penny looked at the small opening in the ground and grew very frightened.
I don't want to go down in that awful black hole again. The cave always fills up with water.
Medusa scowled at Penny and grabbed her teddy bear.
You'll go down there and find that diamond, or you'll never see your precious Teddy again.
What a cruel woman.
Snoops
She must hate
put Penny
children.
into an old bucket and lowered her through a small hole in the ground. Down, down Penny went into the wet, dark cave. When the bucket reached bottom, Bianca looked around.
Oh, what a dreadful, frightening place.
That sounded kind of close to Eva
Said
Gabor.
Bernard nervously.
Let's look for that diamond so we can get out of here.
I think that might be Corey Burton voicing Bernard in this read along.
Hole in the cave.
Ooh.
Penny shuddered.
Ooh, I'm afraid to go over there.
Just like in the film.
That's where the water comes in.
If I were a pirate, that's just where I'd hide a diamond.
Declared Bernard. He began to climb around the gaping hole.
Sounds like they must have used the actual script for some
On
dialogue.
the other side of the hole was the huge diamond.
Hey, that's Evinrude's theme again. Doesn't fit with here.
But even with the help of Penny and Bianca, Bernard couldn't get the diamond out. The tide was coming in, and water began.
Now we get the proper music.
The three of them worked frantically on the scow.
Oh, now it isn't.
Penny found a rusty pirate sword and pried the diamond out. They ran for the bucket, and just as the cave filled with water, they were pulled up to safety.
Yep.
Medusa grabbed the huge
The
diamond
Devil's Eye.
and held it tightly.
It's worth millions, and it's mine at last.
Let me see it.
Whined Snoops.
It's half mine.
I'm not sharing it with anybody.
Snarled Medusa.
Medusa is the double crosser and a chiseler.
Snoops chasing after her. One of Medusa's crocodiles grabbed the back of Penny's dress with his teeth and picked her up.
Put me down, you creepy old dragon.
Yeah, she said creepy old dragon in the film.
And carried her back to the riverboat. Bianca and Bernard ran after them. When the two mice arrived at the
That
riverboat,
music
they
again?
found Medusa holding Penny and Snoops at gunpoint.
Don't either of you try to follow me.
Warned
Yeah, she's actually saying it in that
but
picture.
Penny's teddy
Try to
bear.
follow
She
me.
smiled to think how clever she had been to hide the valuable diamond inside the toy bear.
They were gonna animate her sewing the diamonds to the bear, but they never showed that into
We've
the
got
final
to do
cut.
something fast.
Whispered Bianca. She and Bernard quickly.
This music didn't play at that part in the film.
The wicked Medusa tripped and fell with a crash, and Penny wrapped up her teddy.
This music is actually from On Their Way to the Orphanage when they tried to take a shortcut through the zoo.
Toward Medusa's waiting swampmobile and climbed aboard it. They drove away from the riverboat, leaving Medusa behind, wailing.
My diamond! There goes my diamond!
But we never find out what happened to her after that.
Penny
Hopefully she was
finally got
arrested.
back to her orphanage safely. She gave the valuable diamond to a famous museum.
Yeah, the Smithsonian
where it would be safe for
Institution.
people like Medusa and Snoops. And best of all, Penny was adopted by a nice family. At last, she had a mother and a father.
How sweet.
Back at the Rescue Aid Society, the members gathered round Bernard and Bianca to congratulate them.
Bernard!
This shot was actually from when they were planning their escape with Penny on the boat.
Bianca,
Bernard blushed.
I guess we proved one thing. Even though you may be small, it doesn't have to keep you from doing something big.
Yeah, well, he didn't say that in the film. Now we hear a portion of the Tomorrow's Another Day song. The most 70s-ish sounding song in the whole film.
Come along, sing a song. When today becomes tomorrow, will we find joy or sorrow? Sing a song. Is it wrong?
You can tell by the horns it's from the 70s.
And wish for something better. Is it wrong to belong? To face the future with another who means more than any other is too real.
Ooh. Pretty strange how not only did they just use portions of songs from the film instead of the full ones, they didn't include Someone's Waiting for You, the movie's most memorable song, which was even nominated for an Oscar. And also regarding the songs, Disneyland Records didn't even include the full ones on their LP album here, which is basically one of their storyteller records. But at least this one includes nearly all the actual film story, including the stuff cut from the read-along, and it uses the actual voices for the film. See, they're all credited on the back. But Disney didn't really start to make their read-alongs much closer to the films till the time the read-along version of The Little Mermaid came out in 1990. And I guess that's it for now. But I've already got my ticket for Boston Comic Con 2017. I'll be there on Saturday, August 12th. Watch for me there, and as always, keep watching this YouTube channel.